Hello, everyone. We are here with Spiritual Dimension and Special Needs. I'm saying hello to everyone from London in the UK. We have our guests, two guests today for a change. Meriam, who's joining us from Netherlands, about an hour from Amsterdam, I believe. And we have Ashley joining us from all the way from the US, Ohio. So thank you so much for joining us. I'll just quickly confirm what we do here with the Spiritual Dimension and Special Needs. So our goal is to bring more awareness into visible and invisible disabilities, challenges people face, and support mechanisms they can benefit from. So we would love to build bridges between people with and without challenges such as disability. But that's enough from me. Let our guests shine. So can I please ask you to introduce yourself briefly, starting from Meriam?
Well, my name is Meriam Boldewijn. I was born in South America, in Suriname, and I've been living in the Netherlands for more than 30 years now. I've been a caregiver for more than 20 years for both my husband and my brother. My husband was a diabetic and had a multiple transplant, and my brother had a stroke in 2012. So I've been a caregiver for more than 20 years. But during the time of caring for my brother, I launched my plus size web shop. The same web shop I closed last year because a couple of months ago, I discovered my why. And my why, you will know about it in a couple of minutes, I guess.
Excellent. Brilliant. We can't wait. And Ashley, please tell us about yourself.
Oh, yes. So my name's Ashley, and I am a newlywed. I've been married to my husband now for 2 years, and we actually weren't sure if we were going to be able to, get married because of his story and the reason why I found my why, like Miriam said. So, just going through the different life stages really is what brought me to this point in my life.
Amazing. You are both carers. You've had experience of full-time caregiving. Would you be able to tell us, our viewers, what were the single biggest challenges of moving from, if I got it correctly, career, so full-time jobs, into a full-time caregiving? How did it feel, and what were the biggest challenges for you?
Can I start?
Yes.
The biggest challenges were finding time for myself. 95% of my time I spent on taking care of my husband. The funny thing is, I didn't make time. Now that I think back, I didn't make time for myself, and the 5% that was left for me, I felt guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the biggest challenges, not feeling guilty for having me time, doing self-care, time management. I was running from A to B the whole day. Just to give you an idea, I woke up at 5:30, started at the office at 7:30. He was in the hospital at that time. I went to the office, stayed there until 3 p.m., went home, took the car, went to the hospital. That was 45-minute drive, stayed with him in the hospital until 9 p.m., 9:30 p.m., came home, 10:30 p.m., checked emails, and then went to bed at 11:30. And the next morning at 5:30, woke up again. And this went on and on for 5 months. So that's what my day looked like. So time management was very crucial for me to learn about. But not only that, also giving myself permission to find and see possibilities. That was also a big challenge for me. Yeah.
Wow. Sounds familiar. Yes. And Ashley?
That's exactly what I was going to say. It sounds very familiar. It is, you do get this sense of guilt when you want to sit back and think of yourself when you are the full-time caregiver. You're also having a full-time job, because you have to put food on the plate. And speaking of putting food on the plate, you are also the cook. You're the chauffeur. My It was actually my fiance. He was my fiance at the time. I had to, be his chauffeur. I had to shuttle him back and forth. His hospital was an hour and a half one way from us. So, we hadn't even been married at this point. He was diagnosed with a rare cancer when we were just 2 months newly engaged. So, and we just weren't sure of what was going to happen. So I have all this pressure on me to do everything, be everything, also planning a wedding to a man that I may or may not get to marry. So I have all this extra pressure on me. And when was it going to be me time? It rarely happened. And then when it did, I felt guilty. I was like, oh, I should be doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this isn't productive. I need to be doing something. And, like Meriam touched on with time management, I didn't have that. My time was blocked from what my husband or my fiance at the time needed. That's how I revolved my time management around. It wasn't about what Ashley needed. It was what my fiance needed.
Yeah.
Yes. Putting yourself on the sort of back burner because everything else was more important,
Right.
including practical tasks. Yes. Well, I have different experience as my son. Very early, at a very early stage, he was diagnosed on the autism spectrum. So it's a completely different situation. I'm not sort of bringing it as an equal playing field. But there was one thing you mentioned there, the anxiety. And the second thing you mentioned, I think, no, Meriam mentioned the guilt. And I can completely confirm that there were the feelings that which I was going through, because for me anxiety was about knowing or not knowing whether he is special needs or not, and how it will how that would develop into the future, into his further needs, and so he's now high functioning, but I didn't know that at the stage when it was all happening, evolving, and that anxiety was very difficult to deal with. And then the guilt for me was about, did I do something wrong? Did I make him certain ways? So there was, and also the guilt of having the time for myself when maybe I should have been doing something for him to help him get over his own challenges. So so there is lots. It's very complex, isn't it?
It is, and it's those unwanted feelings. I call them unwanted feelings, like guilt, exhaustion, anxiety, fear. In my case, fear, like, how will his body react? Will his body accept the organs? What if it goes wrong? What if I'm getting goosebumps again when I talk about this? And in Ashley's case, I can imagine that fear it's killing.
Yes. Yeah. Talking of which, did you actually experience any health problems yourself, being so close and living in such a constant worry and anxiety? Did you go through your own
Absolutely
health issues?
Absolutely. Yes. My stress and anxiety manifested itself in ulcers stomach ulcers,
Okay.
and migraines. I do not wish this type of anxiety and stress on anybody, and I will preach to anybody, take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. I'm living, breathing example of it. Like, there's nothing that they can do for you with an ulcer. They just give you a pill and say, get some rest, stop stressing. How can I stop stressing? I'm stressing because I have this to deal with my fiance. Plus, now I'm feeling ill. So now I'm stressed on top of that. So, stress will literally manifest itself into physical issues if you let it.
Yeah, I suffered from exhaustion, sleep deprivation, and I burnt out. I burnt out.
Yes.
Yeah. But that was an eye opener for me. Burnout.
Well, it's what you are describing. Only today I've actually learned about that term, which is called compassion fatigue. And it's got all the signs of a burnout and post-traumatic stress as well. So it's serious, isn't it?
It is. It's so serious. And what I see, and Ashley as well, is that so many carers are suffering, are dealing with stress, those unwanted feelings. And compassion fatigue is, many people don't know about compassion fatigue.
And Meriam, I actually brought up to somebody a couple weeks ago how it is traumatic. Like, being a caregiver can be traumatic, and that stress, the disorder that comes with it is very real. And they just kind of looked at me like, well, isn't that what the military goes through? And yes, there are varying degrees, right? But Meriam, it was traumatic for you to sit there and wonder and fear, is Mark going to survive all these surgeries? It was very traumatic for me to sit there and watch my fiance at the time go through multiple chemos, radiation, 2 major surgeries where I wasn't sure if he was going to wake up out of it. These are real issues that caregivers go through, even on a daily basis. For sure.
Yes. And what you are saying is validating the importance of self-care for everyone, but especially for caregivers, people who are in a position of a carer, whether it is, I guess, if you are a professional caregiver, maybe there are more mechanisms to support a professional within that caregiving niche. But if you are a family member caring for someone loved so close to you, it's a different level as well of stress.
It is. Like Ashley said before, you're the cook, you're the cleaner, you're the caregiver, you're the driver. And that's a huge weight on your shoulders. It is. And asking for help, I would recommend asking for help is a must. You are not weak if you ask for help. And that's what I thought.
Yes.
Yes,
what would they think of me if I asked for help? I thought, no, I got this. I can do it. No, don't worry about me. No, you can't do it alone.
Isn't it also that sort of perception that if you weak, your partner, the loved one you care about will kind of feel that you are losing strength and you need to be strong for that person? Is that also there as well?
Absolutely. I know I would go for a drive or hop in the shower and just cry. That's when I had my cry. I dared to not let him see me cry because he always looked to me as being his strength. So what would that look like if he saw me break down and cry? He might crumble and might give up, then that's going to be on me. Your mind just turns and turns. It sounds crazy, but that's the thoughts that you have. Like, it's all going to come back to me. It's going to be my fault if something happens to him, and it's really not.
No.
Now I know.
Yeah.
But back then I didn't. And it should have been okay for me to ask for help and get that help, but I didn't want to.
Yes.
No, because we thought we were superheroes.
Yes.
And you are, just to clarify, you are superheroes, but superheroes break sometimes or are able to break, and they need their support too.
Yes.
And I think this is a really important message to viewers and the one who's going to watch us on the replay, that there is no harm, and actually it is beneficial to everyone involved. Ask for help, look for their support mechanism. And that what brings me to that question. You know, you went through your own experience. You had your ups and downs, breakouts, compassion fatigue, all the anxiety and stress. You found your way out of it. And your stories are the happy stories, sort of happy ending stories.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful, and I'm so pleased for both of you. You also found your mission, your calling, and your why, as you said it beautifully. So how those personal experiences encouraged you to do it as a I guess a profession, as a business now, support business. How, tell me, please, what was behind, how this all evolved?
It's funny. It's pretty new. Like I said before, I started a web shop, a plus size web shop in 2013, and I closed this web shop last year. At the time of closing, I didn't know what I wanted to do. That was last November, October, November. I've had many ideas, many thoughts, but I wasn't sure. The only thing I was sure about is that I wanted to continue working with people. I love it. I love talking to people and helping others. So a couple of months ago in August, I talked to a friend who also lives in the US. We just met and we had a Zoom call. And she said, "Who's Meriam?" And I started to tell her my story. And I was so busy telling my story that I didn't look at the screen for a couple of seconds. And when I looked at the screen, I saw that she was in tears. And I said, "Oh no, that wasn't my intention to make you cry. I'm so sorry." She said, "No." I said, "Maybe I should write a book." And she said, "Well, that's exactly what I wanted to tell you, because the world needs to hear your story." She's a writing coach. And
She can see the story when there is one. Yes.
Yes, it was the 5th or the 6th of August. And I gave it a thought. I talked to my husband about it. I said, "I've never written a book. Me writing a book?"
Yeah.
Well, on the 22nd of August, I started writing my book, My Caregiver's Journey. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I set up an online program to help caregivers stand in their power while they take care of their loved one. So It's only a couple of months ago that I've discovered my why. And now I understand why the universe said, "You have to experience this, because later you will know why."
Yeah. Amazing. Beautiful. Well done.
Love that.
Wow. Gave me goosebumps. And Ashley?
I love hearing Meriam's story over and over again, because she's such an inspiration, even though I've gone through my own mess. I love it.
You are an inspiration too.
Thank you. So, I was in the same type of boat as Meriam, and we for 3 years, my fiance did end up becoming my husband. Thank God. We did get to walk down that aisle and get married. Just still going through the different chemo and radiation. And finally, March of this year, he was declared and pronounced cancer free. So he survived a rare cancer that only has a 35% chance of survival.
Wow.
So he survived it. He kicked its butt. And that's when, when we got the call that he was cancer free, we were very excited. And then a couple days went on, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, now that I don't have to run you back and forth between the hospital, what am I supposed to do? Because that's all I knew for the past 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
What my whole identity was wrapped up in him and his
Makes sense.
treatment. So I started breaking down, that all that pent up, anxiety and stress was starting to flow out. And I just didn't know where to start, what to do. I didn't know what my purpose was. So I hired a business coach. I decided to invest in myself since I had invested so much in my husband. It was my time, me time. And he was very encouraging. He said, do what you need to do. You took such great care of me. Go. It's your time. So I did that, and working with my business coach, finding out my likes, my dislikes, my passions, and writing out my painful experiences in life. And we kind of zoomed in on those, which was very uncomfortable. And so it was a mesh of my pain and my passions, which is how my purpose came to be. And in July of this year, I launched Timeless Dream Events, which is an event planning business for the terminally and chronically ill patients and their loved ones. So I help plan weddings, birthdays, showers, celebrations of life, whatever a family needs in that time. I'm here to help and facilitate. I have people on board with me and my mission. And if I get someone that says they only have a month or two to plan something, great. I've got people set in place that can help. And I'm sympathetic and empathetic to their needs. Yeah. I was in their position once. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get married to my husband. And all we can do is thank God that I did. But I know what it's like. So I love waking up now and figuring out who I can help, who I can, put a smile on somebody's face. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I'll get goosebumps when you are sharing that beautiful inspiration. You took what was so painful and you turned it into, that great, beautiful support, assistance to others whom you understand because you've been there. So, so amazing. I'm so impressed by you, ladies. It's amazing what you are doing. And since you've managed to find your why and you look much, I would say, in a much more in a happy place now, both of you, and you have businesses which are giving you that presumably satisfaction of helping others.
Yeah.
Can I ask, out of those experiences, out of this mess, you are now on a straight road to joy, happiness, and what were the greatest takeouts, the greatest lessons you have learned, and if there is a few tips you might want to share with our viewers, that would be great too.
Actually, You've got a lot of tips.
I was ready to pounce. I think the biggest takeaway is to listen to yourself. You're allowed to listen to that inner voice. You know, a lot of times we disregard out of fear, you know, what we know we should do, what to be true to ourselves, and sometimes out of fear or out of anxiety, we just don't listen. I say listen to that little voice, and you know, take your time for yourself. That's my biggest takeaway from what I've learned over the past couple years. You know, it's not always going to look like luxurious spa days. You know, it might be 5 to 10 minutes of meditation, or you read a chapter of a book, you write a chapter of a book. You know, it's not, and it's not going to be the same for everybody, right? So self-care is not cookie cutter. Self-care is what self-care is to you. So my self-care is going to be different than Meriam's self-care. It's going to be different than Monica's self-care. Those are the few biggest takeaways I have from my experience.
Yes.
And when someone, I will add this, when someone asks what they can do for you in your time of need, tell them and accept the help. It's okay. It doesn't make you look weak. Just accept the help. All the times that my support system asked what they could do for me, and I said, no, 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 nope, nope, nope. I got this. I wish I would have said, yes, I need someone to cook for me. I need someone to maybe come over here and run the vacuum sweeper. You know, just accept the help if someone wants to help you.
Yeah. Especially with cleaning. Especially with cleaning, another tip, if you have something big in the house to do, ask them to help you with that part.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you will spend 1 or 2 hours. In those 1 or 2 hours, you can do something you enjoy. That's self-care. Something you enjoy. And it doesn't matter what that enjoyment is. It doesn't matter as long as you enjoy it. And I learned to own my well-being the hard way because I burnt out. So what I do now is every morning I write for 3 or 5 minutes in my notebook, whatever comes to my mind. If nothing comes to my mind, I write, oh, nothing comes to my mind. But usually there's always something that comes to your mind. It doesn't matter if it's spring, summer, you hear the birds, write it down. You will be amazed how many ideas you will get from just writing for 3 to 5 minutes. Your time before you start the day. I also meditate, morning meditation, and in the evening before I go to bed. I had to get used to it, but now if I don't do it, it feels like when I don't brush my teeth. I miss it.
It's like a mental hygiene, isn't it?
Yeah.
It feels so good. It calms me. It clears my head. So that's another takeaway. And just like Ashley said, please ask for help. You're not weak. Don't be like us.
You're not going to allow it now.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to let others know. Ask for help and give yourself the permission to enjoy your me time. And really, it doesn't matter what you're doing. For instance, my brother had a stroke, and together with the family, I was doing a lot for him as his caregiver. And I sometimes needed me time while I was with him in his home, in his apartment. So what I did is listening to an audiobook while vacuuming. But that was my time. I owned my well-being.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
that's a simple thing, but it really helps. It really does. And don't be afraid to say no when they ask you. Even my husband, my brother, Miriam, can you please help me with this? And if I've scheduled that time for myself, I tell them, no, I can't help you now, but I can help you at that and that time.
I love
mean,
that.
That's actually setting up boundaries, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
boundaries. Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
Even as a carer, absolutely. And as what you said before, you did not have boundaries while you were in the carrying mode. It felt wrong, but it is absolutely the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Because if you're sick, who's going to take care of the person that
Of
you're
the
caring
carer.
for?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, who's going to take care of the carer if you are relying on your own capacity to help everyone? And everyone is so used to as well. People get used to carers, them taking that duty of care. And even, I bet, even with families, there was that sort of expectation that this is the person who's going to take care of everyone.
Yeah.
I
think naturally some people are just carers by nature, and I kind of can relate to it. So
I think so too. Yeah, it's easy to help others than taking care of yourself. It's so easy to take care of others than to spend those 5 to 10 minutes to do something you enjoy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So easy.
It's so easy. And exactly that 10 minutes or 15 minutes of joy and being selfish in a way, in a good way, is absolutely crucial. So there are no, and also I think that way we can minimize those unwanted feelings, especially where resentment sometimes comes, so creeps in, and it's like, another hour of doing something which I don't even like, I have to do it. And I wish I could, I don't know, watch TV or binge on a movie series. But that's where it comes down to, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very true.
Yes. Well, since it is Spiritual Awakening Circle, and we are in love with spiritual development and spiritual tools, Meriam has already mentioned two tools which are a part of that spiritual development, being meditation and journaling. So I'm guessing, Meriam, you have been on a spiritual path yourself?
Yes, I have. I've been meditating now for a couple of years, and the last 6-7 months, I've been doing it twice a day, and it makes me feel calm. It relaxes me. I had to get used to it. But like I said before, if I don't do it, it feels like I haven't brushed my teeth. So
it's a second nature now.
Yeah, absolutely. And journaling, writing helps me also with, especially now that I'm writing my book. There are chapters when I'm writing, and I think Ashley knows exactly what I'm talking about. I cry. But after I'm done, it feels it's such a relief. In the beginning, I was a bit confused. Why am I crying? But it's a process.
It's healing.
It's very therapeutic.
You are healing the healer, the carer.
Yeah, and it feels so good. So I remember I was writing about my late mom, and I started crying. I said, Miriam, what's happening to you? Miriam, why are you crying? Your mom has passed away 9 years ago. So but it's only 9 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Only 9 years. And
And you,
who said I can't cry? So I said, Meriam, give yourself the permission to cry.
Yes.
yes. Yeah, that's your time. Now you've got to that me time, and you do whatever you want with that time. If it's a happy time, if it's about crying, if it's sort of sharing tears of relief, of some relief, or releasing certain emotions, then it's your process, as you said, and you own it, and that's what comes to me as one of the biggest takeouts from our conversation. Ashley, do you have any sort of practices or more of that spiritual nature, or have you been spiritual? How is it?
Sure. So I do journal as well. And I pray. My prayer might look different than normal, going to church and sitting in a church pew and praying. Sometimes I go, well, when it's warmer outside, it's winter now, but in the spring and summertime, I'll go outside for a run. And like
Physical
Miriam,
movement, yes.
yes, and like Miriam said, my dad suddenly passed away 9 years ago, and I carry him with everything I do in life up through to what I had to deal with my husband. And sometimes I will go for a run because my dad liked to run, and I'll scream, cry, call upon my dad, God, the ancestors that came before to help me, guide me through everything that I'm doing in life now. I always want to bring, um, excellence to the legacy that I'm walking out, as far as, going from my great grandmother to my grandmother to my dad and so on. I feel like I'm walking out his legacy, and I want to keep doing so. So I use running, prayer, journaling as my kind of like my meditation and prayer time.
Yes, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone, that's the beauty of those spiritual tools, that there is something for everyone. There are just sort of loose guidances that you adapted to yourself and what you need and what your healing journey is and what you are currently processing. And I think what comes out very clearly for me is there will be time required from a person who's been in the process of caregiving, to care about themselves, to nurture themselves, herself, himself, and to claim that time to heal.
Yeah.
You have to become intentional with it. Like, it has to be written down. For me, I have to literally write down, I'm writing now. I need to go for a run now. I need to have my 5 to 10 minutes of me where I'm maybe just sitting in a chair with no distraction. I literally have to write these things down, or else they don't happen.
Yes.
You have to
Oh, that's
become
powerful.
intentional.
Setting up an intention is a really powerful tool.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is. It is. And just like Ashley said, if you write it down, you see it, you read it, the mind picks it up.
Yeah.
That's how it
works. Yes.
That's how it works.
Yeah, and we can trick the mind sometimes, as you did with the after the burnouts and compassion fatigues. You've rewired your brain to serve you better. I guess that's the way of putting it.
Right.
Yes, and like we said before, it won't be easy. You don't do this overnight. No, that's not the way it works. But please don't say I'll start on January 1st.
No.
Start today.
Ow.
Don't say I'll start on Monday. Start today.
Yes.
If I don't know anything else, I know that life is short, and saying that kind of stuff. I'll wait till next year. I'll wait till after the Christmas season. I'll wait till this happens or that happens. You might not see that day, that
Yes.
time. You need to start it now. Why not start the self-care now when you need it so much?
Yeah.
Especially during the season, especially during this year.
That's what I wanted to
We
say.
need self-care.
Self-care, or that they say, I'm too old for this.
Nope.
What is
No one
old?
is too old.
What is old? My
Mhm.
mother-in-law, she's 96, and she is so enjoying her life.
Awesome.
96. And
Yes.
I'm 50. I'm starting my second business from scratch.
Mhm.
Don't say you're too old to do something. Start
Mhm.
today.
Absolutely.
Amazing. This is beautiful. Thank you so much for amazing tips, amazing advice, amazing that you came and shared your very personal experiences. And it's still raw at the edges. So I appreciate it even more. We have two of the viewers who wanted to say thank you as well
Oh,
to both
my
of you for
pleasure.
sharing your experiences, the Varani and Diana, who watched and reached out to say thank you in the comments. And we will after our live put contact information in the comment section for both of you. So people who felt who resonated with your messages and what you do in terms of businesses can reach out directly. For now, thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure to have you both on, and I'm hoping to see you again at some point.
Yes.
We will.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you, and see you soon.
See you
Bye.
soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.